Hello, everybody. This is the Chocolate News Podcast. I'm your co-host, John Alexander Reese.
And I'm your co-host, Andria Carter.
And if you did not know, the Cincinnati Herald has been around since 1955 and is the leading African-American owned newspaper in the greater Cincinnati area and northern Kentucky area. So how's it going, Andrea?
It's going fine, John. In fact, I'm enjoying what a lot of people have said to me today, the last day of summer-esque fall weather before
Yes.
we have that 30-degree drop tomorrow.
Don't remind me.
And it's like walking around, enjoying myself. I was doing a little bit of outreach down in OTR, walking around, getting some people were getting ices. It was just, it's been an incredible day. It's been wonderful. Then
Yeah.
fall's gonna come.
Don't remind me. I have to work at my other job on Friday, and it's gonna be so cold that night and rainy. So I'm just like, yay,
Well,
looking forward to that.
yeah, I have a lot of stuff this week. I have a very busy weekend because I'm looking forward to the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner because I can't wait to hear Hakeem Jeffries.
Oh yeah.
And then Audra McDonald is be performing with the Cincinnati Symphony on Sunday.
Is she?
Yes,
Wow.
and there's going to be it's just going to be interesting to watch her perform. And I'm just a huge fan of her as an actress, and as a singer, she's incredible. And I'm a huge Dinah Washington fan, but she did a Broadway show about Billie Holiday, Lady Day,
Mm,
and she did it so well that I bought the album. So I'm looking
wow.
forward to, I'm going to have a very political, artistic weekend. I'm looking forward to it all, despite the cool weather of fall. So
Right.
I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. It's and I'll talk about it next week for both, but it's going to be, it's just really interesting and energizing week, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah. So what's the chocolate news of the week, Andrea?
Well, it's a very interesting week. It's kind of, it's history in the making on a number of things. Number one, I guess the breaking news, or the ongoing story, I should say, is the shooting at Morgan State University, which is an HBCU university, and it's located in Baltimore, the city of Baltimore. And Baltimore has had an increase in shootings over the last few years, and unfortunately, this is the third time that Morgan State has experienced a shooting during their homecoming festivities. And this happened last night. 5 people were injured, I think either inside or outside a dorm. And at
Mm,
least of the injured, 4 were students. One believed was visiting a student or was visiting the college campus because of homecoming. And so this happened like late yesterday afternoon, about 9:25 p.m. They're still looking for the suspect. I know a number of people who have attended Morgan State or have visited Morgan State. They're very concerned. It's kind of sad that Baltimore has this rap, because Baltimore is a great city, but it's just kind of sad. And they're looking for the shooter. The victims are between the ages of 18 and 22.
mm-hmm.
And I would say, if everyone look for updates on whatever Facebook page that you're looking at. I was on an HBCU Facebook page earlier. They were asking questions, giving comments about it as well. So it's a concern that a shooting has occurred on a Black campus again, which
Such,
is
such a
kind of
shame.
sad. But in a way, it's sad that it happened at Morgan State, but in a way, you don't hear this activity happening on any other HBCU campus right now. I should say, knock on wood. So, because this is not the behavior of HBCUs, it just really
Exactly.
is not. But I think it's indicative of the environment that surrounds the HBCU, and I just think it's kind of sad. But we'll keep you up to date. Check out the Herald website, and as we get more information, we'll provide you all with more information. But just keep good thoughts for the victims of this recent shooting. So
Yeah, most definitely.
then, speaking of shootings, I cannot believe this has occurred, but Tupac Shakur, a man has been arrested in the murder of Tupac Shakur 27 years after it occurred. They finally have arrested Dwayne Keith Davis. He is a member of a California-based gang known as the Southside Compton Crips, and he was a childhood friend of NWA member Eazy-E.
Mm.
Basically, this guy has built a friendly relationship with Sean Diddy Combs, and I guess he knows a lot of the rappers from back in the 90s and everything. And there was that East Side West Coast rivalry, and this guy allegedly has been arrested in the murder of rapper Tupac Shakur, who is like one of the great rappers of our time.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Yeah,
I
most
mean,
definitely.
Tupac, he is I didn't appreciate what I was listening to when rap first began. This tells you my age. But it is interesting to see how his work and how high esteem Tupac's work is remains. But to think that he was a victim of this rivalry, and that the fact that they were able to make this connection, I'm still trying to figure out how they made this connection, because there are some suspects who were sort of suspected of being part of his murder have come and gone. Some of them have died. He was arrested. Well, no, I should say that Tupac was killed in Las Vegas. I think, was it after he had performed, or he was just in?
No, I think it was after they saw a boxing match,
Okay,
and he was riding in the car with Suge Knight, and then I think that's the last time. That's before he
that's
got
right.
shot.
That's right. He was in. That's right. He was in the car with Suge Knight. I totally
Hmm.
forgot about that part.
Yeah,
Whew,
because
it's been
there's this famous picture of him with Suge Knight, and I think he was like flipping off the camera.
yeah. I mean, and you know what? He knew he was really, his talent for acting was just starting to come about, because he did Poetic Justice with
Yeah, he was with Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson. I
Yeah,
was going to say Michael's little sister.
yeah,
He did Juice, he did Above the Rim, he did Gridlock.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
I mean,
my favorite was Juice. That's my favorite movie of his.
Juice was good, but I love Poetic Justice because it, you know what? I've only heard his hard side, and in
Hmm.
Poetic Justice showed his soft side. And I
Yeah.
didn't know he had one until that movie. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay, all right. And he
Yeah.
played a father. So,
Yeah.
you don't expect him to be that side of things. And, his mother was a Finney Shakur, a former Black Panther. So, you had that militant,
Oh
you know,
yeah.
he had that background.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this case, how they came about it, and I want to know how they connected this guy with Tupac's murder. I really want to know.
Yeah. I'm curious about that too because I was just thinking like, oh, this case is never going to be solved. It's like with with Notorious B.I.G. It's just like his case is never going to be solved either. So I'm
Yeah,
just like, if they solve this case, maybe they'll solve Notorious B.I.G. too.
it's
Here's
kind of
hoping.
yeah. I mean, because it's kind of like Notorious B.I.G. and Tupac. They both were legends of the rap
Yeah.
community, of the hip hop. I should say the hip hop community. I'm showing
Right.
my age when I say that. And I've seen, I've attended a number of concerts off and on, and you've seen the brilliance of how rap has elevated the spoken word in a unique way. I think also it did a disservice because it sort of stopped kids from wanting to take up a musical instrument. And I think
Mm,
you could do both. And I
right.
think today hip hop artists have proven that you can do both now. You can play an instrument and rap at the same time, and
Right.
make a living. So I'll stay on top of this and bring everyone an update as we hear stuff.
Gotcha.
So as another long season, what can we say about the Bengals?
Don't even get me started.
I'm what can we say about the Bengals?
You,
I'm
you know what,
sorry.
this is why I have a hard time rooting for the Bengals. This is like once I'm in, and then I just get so disappointed. They beat the Rams on Monday Night Football. I was like, yay! It was a good game, close game. It's all uphill, it's all up from here. They can't go back down, but they did go back down, and really, really down, like 27-3 down. It was embarrassing.
I mean, I watched that game, and finally I just had to, I kept it on, but I would walk in the room. I was like, no. And I walk out the room, and I heard touchdown and realized it was not us. It was the Rams. And I was like, really? All we got was a field goal. I think that the injury with Joe, I think the mindset, his deal, I think all of that has thrown an element into the mindset of the team that they need to let it go
Yeah.
and get back to what they were about, because they still have a chance to at least do well to make it to the wild card. I don't know. I'm all I can say is they look good in their white uniforms, but still, um, I'm a Bengals supporter, but still, I'm almost tempted to join my sister in supporting the Miami Dolphins, because their defense is off the chain and they're number one in the season for
Yeah.
defense. And it's Miami Dolphins. Usually I'm making fun of my sister of the Miami Dolphins. Instead, she continues to make fun of me. So and then I also will say that our other sports team, the Reds, they also lost their playoff bid. Unfortunately, they got stopped. So their hunt for a World Series has stalled until next year. But I think we have a few believers, and I think the Reds organization is very happy. They had stadium filled with fans for once this season.
Oh yeah.
So we'll just have to see what happens next year, and hopefully we can take things further next year.
Yeah,
So
let's here's hoping.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm keeping
Okay.
my fingers crossed. So unfortunately, sad news is that Dianne Feinstein had died. She was the longest serving female senator from California. And, she had announced her decision to retire in February. And, there were accolades for her service and what she has done throughout her career, what she has done for California. In fact, the day that she died, or I should say the day before she died, she was meeting with people, working on measures about the future of the country. And MSNBC had one woman who had taken a picture with her the day before and was devastated to learn that she had died. Her friend had died.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad that Feinstein is gone. I think she was the embodiment of what an elder statesman should be like. I know this is a cause that some people feel that after a certain age you shouldn't serve anymore, but until they stop older men from serving, women are going to continue to serve as well. And the fact that she was 90, I mean, Strom Thurmond, I think, was the longest serving senator, because I forgot how old he was, but he was in a wheelchair serving until he resigned
Mm,
and died. So, I mean, just because someone is older does not mean they don't stop serving and doing for
right.
the country. I think we just have to praise their passion, honor their wisdom, and support what they have accomplished and what they hope to accomplish as they continue to serve, because it takes a special person to step up and say, yes, I will represent the country, yes, I will work with these people and play and be in the world of politics and things like that. um,
Mm-hmm.
but speaking of Feinstein, the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, he has done something which is really unexpected. He has appointed LaFonza Butler. I hope I'm pronouncing her name right.
I believe
Um,
so.
and as the replacement for Feinstein's seat. So she's going to be the third Black woman to serve as a senator in the Senate, which
Wow.
is unbelievable.
Yeah,
She
it's
is currently
great.
the president of Emily's List, which is a fundraising platform and supports women candidates, and they also amplify issues that disproportionately impact women. Emily's List was founded in 1985, and and they have and was founded by Barbara Boxer, Ann Richards, Ann Wexler, Donna Shalala. who are, some top political women who have served our country well. And so now, Shalala, I should say, LaFonza was sworn in yesterday by Vice President Kamala Harris. And so she is, automatically she's going to be, a lot of press will be on her. There was speculation about whether or not she is a resident of California because she lives in Maryland, but she does own property in California. And according to the rules of a person who serves in the U.S. Senate, they have to inhabit the place that they're representing and not be a resident. So because it says inhabitant and not resident, I think they can work around that issue. And she's going to make sure her residency goes back to California and that she is registered to vote in California to make sure she's up on the issues of California and be out there to serve. So she's been sworn in. She's going to complete the term of Senator Feinstein, and then Newsom is going to let her decide of that if she is going to run for the position when the term is up. And I believe she has to run, she could run for office, I think, in either 2024 or 2026.
Gotcha.
I'm not too sure what she's going to do, but she has been, there are a number of people, actually it's 2024 because there are a number of people already running for that seat. Adam Schiff, Barbara, State Representative Lee, there's another person who's running as well for the position. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
And also, and I didn't know this until the other, I don't know if you mentioned it, but she's the I think she is she made history because she's like the first Black openly lesbian US senator. So
Yes,
that's
yes.
progress right there.
That is progress right there then. And you know what? I'm not surprised about California because California has always been a very open-minded state. They're very liberal in their thinking,
Right.
representing everybody, not just one specific person or another. And I think it's interesting. And I think that's fantastic especially for the LGBTQ community. They have a true representative and now they have a seat at the table on, especially regarding American issues. So that's fantastic. And then last but not least of the chocolate news is the ongoing issue of Speaker of the House in Congress.
Yes.
The historic vote to remove the Speaker of the House took place yesterday. And Kevin McCarthy was removed for the first time ever. He did try to reach out to the Democrats to strike a deal with them. They told him no.
Yeah.
They saved his bacon for the funding of the government for 45 days. And then he went on national television and blamed the Democrats for all of the issues that went on regarding the funding bill. And basically they said it was a slap in the face because they saved him and then they disrespected them. So basically the Hakeem Jeffries and leadership of the Dems said, this is your mess, you fix it. And
Yeah, that's
they voted,
politics.
it's politics. And so they voted not to support Kevin McCarthy's position, but they thought the Republicans were going to save him, but instead, I believe it was like 8 Republicans joined the Dems and voting against him.
Yeah. I
And
I I I honestly did not expect him to lose the seat because I know what's his name? Matt Gates.
yes,
The
Gantz.
Yeah, Gents, whatever, I don't care. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I honestly did not think I did not think this was gonna happen. But it did. So it's
It did. I mean, it's kind of sad. He said he was not going to run for the position again. So basically, as a leader in the Republican Party, he's done. But what I think what's sad is there's no one else to take his place in the Republican Party in Congress. There's no one who's worthy, or I should say, can stand on that platform as Speaker of the House. Even the guy who was temporary Speaker of the House, he is horrible. I don't know what to say, because I mean it's when you look for a leader, you want someone who respects opinions, can reach across the aisle, but has the Republicans respect him. But there's so much infighting within the Republican Party that it's a very high stakes game right now that they're doing between the far right extreme Republicans compared to the non-far right extreme Republicans. That civil war keeps going. But what has come out of this remarkable historic vote, Ohio's own Jim Jordan has announced that he wants to run for speaker.
Of course.
I have no words. Jim
I,
Jordan
I
has
got
proven,
words like disgust.
yes, that disgust, unbelievable. He doesn't have leadership qualities. He has management qualities, but he doesn't have leadership qualities. Steve Scalise is another person who has jumped into the fray as a potential runner for Speaker of the House. Many people may not really recognize his name, but back in I think it was 2017, 2016, 2017, he was the congressman who was shot by a gunman during a morning softball practice.
Oh yeah, right.
And I believe our own state rep from our area, is it Wexler? No, it's who's the doctor?
Can't remember off
This
the
is
top of my
bad when you
head.
can't think of who represents you. It's so bad. But anyway, he's the guy who got shot.
Right.
And so this is who this is. And but what is also said is that Scalise has also been diagnosed with blood cancer.
Mm.
So and he announced his diagnosis in August, and it's very treatable, but and he's undergoing treatment for several months, but he wants to run for speaker. And depending upon what type of treatment that he's receiving for blood cancer, can cause him to have seizures, can cause him to have adverse effects to the treatment. So there's that. Then you have Jim Jordan, who has put his hat in the ring, which is interesting. Also, it's shaking up the leadership of the Republican Party in the House. No one else has, announced their bid. There is another name, Kevin Hern, is from Oklahoma. He's also announced that he might want to run. I don't know if that's true or not, but his name has come up. Hern was one of the 117 Republicans who voted against Ukraine last week.
Mm.
So that's who you have folks who, again, people who want to be leaders that aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Jim Jordan, would be the second time that Jim Jordan has run for Speaker of the House. He ran against Paul Ryan back in 2018, but he didn't garner enough support of the Republicans at that time. And during that time period, McCarthy was elected to minority leader of the GOP during that 2018 election. So I don't know. I just don't know. And remember, McCarthy didn't win after 15 rounds.
Right.
So, I mean, are we going to go through another multi-round election? It's going to be interesting what the Dems' response to this is going to be. Scalise did vote in favor of Ukraine, of funding, continue to support the Ukraine and, helping them in their fight against Russia. So it's going to be interesting. And that is the chocolate news for now.
All right. Well, thank you, Andrea. And that's the end of our show. And I want to thank you for giving us all the good chocolate news. It's always appreciated.
Well, it's my pleasure. I mean, it's unbelievable what has happened this week. And I'm just like, what else can occur? So you just don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So, folks, you can find more information about today's topics and past podcast episodes at www.cincinnatiherald.com, the Session newsletter, or on our social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Threads. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast app. Our podcast is on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Amazon, YouTube, and Google Podcasts. In addition, the Cincinnati Herald is now accepting applications for an advertising representative. So please call or text our publisher, Walter White, at 513-680-7076 for more information. I'm John Alexander Reese.
And I'm Andria Carter.
And have a good day.